Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to explain what state is in React, what React hooks are, how routing works and how useState works in React application. By the end of this video you will clearly understand how React manages data and navigation inside an application. So let's get started. Let's learn what is state in React. Now let's talk about an important concept in React called state. State is simply data stored inside a component that can change over time. Whenever the state changes, React automatically updates the user interface. For example, imagine a counter application. When a user clicks a button, the number increases, right? That number is stored in the state. Other example of state includes, like for example, form input values, shopping cart items, user login status, dark mode settings. So in simple terms, state allows React component to remember information. So here you can see why state is important. Without state, component would only display static data. States allow React application to become interactive. For example, clicking a button increase a number, typing text updates an input field, and loading API data displays result. So now let's see how React handles state internally. Basically, the React uses a concept called virtual DOM. Virtual DOM majorly contain the process like state change. React created a new virtual DOM tree. React compare it with the previous virtual DOM, which is called diffing. Only changed element update in the real DOM. This makes React fast and efficient. Now let's talk about what are React hooks. So before React version 16.8, developers had to use class component to manage state. But React introduced something called hooks, which allows functional components to use state and other React features. Hooks make React code simpler, more readable, easier to reuse. Some common React hooks includes useState, useEffect, useContext, and useRef. The useState hooks allows a component to create and manage state, and useEffect used to manage side effect, which includes API request, DOM manipulation, timer subscription, and login. And useContext allows component to access global data without prop drilling, and useRef provide direct access to DOM element or persistent variable. And useMemo and callback, these hooks are used for performance optimization. They prevent unnecessary recalculation or function recreation. Let's talk about the routing. So far we talked about managing data with state, right? But what about navigation between the pages? That's where routing comes in. Routing allow user to navigate between different pages of the application without reloading the browser. For example, home component, about component, and contact component. React routers map URL part to the components. Instead of reloading the page, React changes the component being displayed. So React application usually use a library called React router. So let's talk about what is React router. React router is a library that enables navigation between different components. Instead of loading a new page from the server, React simply switches the component displayed on the screen. This makes React application faster and smoother. To install React router, you have to run the command npm install react router DOM. This package provides all the tools needed for routing. So we have here the basic example of routing. So let's understand this. Browser router enables routing. Routes contain all the route definition. Each route connects a URL path with the component. So for example, here we have a about will display the about component. Navigation using link. To navigate between pages, we use the link component. When user click these links, React changes the component without refreshing the page. Let's imagine an e-commerce website. Routing would handle navigation between pages like home page, product page, cart page, checkout page. Meanwhile, state would manage things like item in a cart, user login status, selected products. So both concepts work together to build a dynamic application. And that's it for the video. Now you understand the basic of React as state hooks on routing. If you found this video helpful, like the video, leave a comment if you have any question, and subscribe for more web development tutorial. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.